أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث مسلمة لا شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون.
He replied, Allah says, it should have been used neither to till the soil nor water the fields, wholesome and without blemish. They said, now you have come with the truth, yet they still slaughtered it hesitantly.
إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث مسلمة لا شية فيها. He says it's a cow that hasn't been milked, it hasn't been put to work, it hasn't tilled the soil. You know, it's a cow. Now, understand, when cows are too young, they're calves, you can't put them to work, they're too weak. When they're too old, they're not as good at doing the work. So what's the best time to put the cow to work? When it's in the middle age, right? Now it's in its middle age, that's already been established. Now they've got to find a cow that is this awesome in its texture. On top of that, it's never been put to work. And one of the benefits of the cow to milk it hasn't been milked either. It hasn't been violated in any way as far as human, labor is concerned. And on top of that, Allah added another condition, which pretty much makes it impossible to find such a cow. What is that other condition? The other condition is musallamatun la shiyata fiha. It's absolute in its texture, and it's well built. It's a strong cow, and it has no blemish. In other words, it's good to find a cow that's 90% yellow and it's got a couple of black spots here and there. No, la shiyata fiha. It can't have any blemishes. It has to be 100% paint job. It has to be perfect. That color. In other words, this would practically be impossible, except if Allah guides you to it. Now, the narrations whose authenticity can be questioned, Allah Ta'ala a'lam, I'll just allude to them briefly because even though the guidance of the ayat in and of itself is complete, we might get some indication as to further benefits from these narrations, which is that, they eventually did find this cow and it was given to this child in inheritance. This young boy owned it and he refused to sell it because his father had given it to him before he passed away. And they tried to convince him to give it to him. So he said, fine, I'll give it to you. Give me its weight in gold. So it cost them pretty much the entire, capital of the Israelites to have access to this cow, something that would have been very simple and straightforward had they obeyed Allah in the first place, right? So now Allah says, فَذَبَحُوهَا. Then they slaughtered it, fine. وَمَا كَادُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. And they almost didn't do so. They were almost not going to do so at all. In other words, initially the intent wasn't to go ahead and fulfill this commandment. It is only because pressure was building on them, and perhaps the issue of the murder was becoming so serious that they were going to, come under like a civil war type of situation. They realized we have to solve this thing. There's no way we can solve it. Well, maybe Musa is right. Well, he's been right a couple of times before, so we'll just go with him. Right? So they were kind of put in a corner where they had to do this. Otherwise, they weren't inclined to do so at all. فَذَبَحُوهَا وَمَا كَادُوا يَفْعَلُونَ.